This seems to be the process of faith that God has had me in. It's like when it's dark, you don't know that anything is off. It's only when the light comes on. The light comes on, shows you how dark it is. That's where I've been. That seems to be where my position has been, my vantage point. This, like, in my weakness, this is where I'm in need of a breakthrough. Because the light is showing me, look how dark it's been. Because there are things that I used to be under the influence of that I'm no longer under the influence of. And I think because I'm no longer under the influence of these things, I'm being persecuted. Because I'm not under the influence, and if you're not under the influence, you must be knowing something new. And in that place, I'm looking to God in a way that I've not looked to God before, because I've been in need, right? And so I'm waiting on Him in a position of stillness to know that He is God. I'm looking to God. And in this way, I think you will be persecuted, like I am being persecuted. This seems to be the nature of it. And this is where you will suffer like Jesus suffered. And you will share in the suffering of that. Because even Jesus looked to His Father. So we are looking to Jesus, and Jesus is looking to the Father, and we're looking to Jesus, and we're looking to the Father, and Jesus was with us as we both look to the Father, and He's like, I know what this is like. Like, God's ways are higher than man's ways. Like, God sent His Son to die. You know, it's different. But it's like, this has been the place that I've been in. This place where I'm no longer under the influence the same way. And the evidence of this is that God has brought in a certain measure of light that has exposed how dark it has been. And in this place, this measure of faith that seems to be sufficient enough to be increased. But this deep knowing that seems to get deeper and deeper as I'm walking by faith, I can't do anything with this seed. I can do nothing apart from Him. I can do nothing with this seed. So this seed in my hand is not really anything. But it seems to be the measure that has been given to me in His hand can be multiplied, can be increased, can move a mountain. But it won't move a mountain in a seed form. So it has to be, the seed has to break, right? The shell or whatever, for that to be able to go through the process. It's like, what do you think it's like to be buried alive? To be conscious that you were under the ground. So you're conscious that you were awake, but you're in a place that's not really living. That's what it feels like I've been in for a very long time. And the breakthrough is in this place of like, God, like, I don't need just a measure of light that shows me how dark it's been. I need a measure of light that takes me into a new understanding. And I think this is happening. It's just happening at His pace, which seems to be really fucking slow. But probably not. It's probably not. Like, I look at myself in some ways and I'm like, wow, there's been so much acceleration here. And because of this, it has felt like a whiplash thing. Like growing pains. But in another way, it just feels like that's where I've been at. I'm like, these accusations of lack, the spiritual warfare comes in, you know, like a trial, like a tribulation, a continuous trial and tribulation, and it points and pokes at me in these weak places, and it rubs me raw in the same weak places continually over time. That brings about this heaviness and this crushing in my spirit. Right? This very specific crushing. Because it's not like different every time. It's actually the same, and that's where I feel rubbed raw. And in this place, I'm like crying out to God, right? And He's like, I hear you. I have a plan for this. I'm not going to waste this. And I really have to trust Him with this seed of faith that He's given me, this measure, sufficient enough Because I believe that it will be the faith in me that moves the mountain. But it's the seed in the Father's hand that then can be multiplied. It's the seed in his hand. It will be his power in my weakness. It seems to be the container for the seed is ourselves, our weak frame. And in our weak frame by itself can do nothing. The seed will never become anything. It will just be a seed. We can't look to ourselves, and I don't think that we can speak to the seed and tell that seed to grow, because you will speak from what you know, and what you know will be given. And there will be a time where you don't know, and there'll be a time that you do know, and the time from coming from what you don't know to what you do know now, which seems to be this place where light has come in and showed me just how dark it's been, in this need to know of a measure of light that takes me to a new state of being. It's like I'm coming to know a new thing. I'm coming to know a new thing, right? And it's him. He is multiplying it. And in my weakness and spiritual warfare, it draws up my weakness, presses on my weak points, rubs me raw in that way, over and over and over. I'm like, well, it won't be me. It won't be me. Accusations come at me and say, you're going to hold yourself back. Spirit of fear, you're going to hold yourself back. You were lacking in this way. I go to God. I'm just like in a stupor because it's been going on for so long. I'm just like, dude, I don't even know, man. Like, are these my thoughts or are these not my thoughts? Like, is this spiritual warfare or is this just my life? Like, I can't tell anymore. There doesn't seem to be a dividing line. My mental capacity to be able to separate these things is not there. I can't logically get myself out of this one. I can't make myself feel better in this place. And maybe it's just me. I don't know. I don't think it is, though. I think that I'm giving language to things that weren't described before. To be like, oh my God, that's what I've been feeling. Yeah, it's like feeling buried alive, but conscious that you're under the ground. But there seems to be in this place that the power in our weakness, it will need his power. So then you will have to know of your weakness. And I think you come to know of your weakness, that is a form of suffering when spiritual warfare comes, when the storm comes. When you see that there's nothing that you can add to the storm. Because the accusations are lacking. You need to do something. You need to do something. You need to do something. But the truth is you aren't lacking. But you have not come to know the truth yet. So you are affected by by accusations of lack. Because you're in a dark place. So I've come to know that I've been deceived. But I can't undeceive myself. That's as far as I can go. It seems to be the place that he has me in. You have been deceived, right? The light comes in and shows me how dark it has been, and in darkness I find I have been deceived. And the spiritual warfare influences me in the same way, it seems, because I see this place that I'm still in. And this is where I need a breakthrough. And this is where I'm crying out to God. And this is where I'm saying this measure of faith that you have given me, I give back to you in a sense, because I need your power. I need your strength. And I think that's that ultimately you begin to, he teaches you how grace sustains you and keeps you going. And then the word talks about, enduring through trials produces character. And eventually the end of that sentence is you're no longer lacking. And I think it's not so much that you're no longer lacking, but you come into the knowing that you were never lacking. And then when you know that you were never lacking, you will not be influenced by spirits of lack the same way. You have been elevated. That's what I believe anyway. You're coming in to know the truth that has always been true. I've never been lacking, but it requires going through trials and tribulations to bring out the weakness in you. And the surrendered weakness in the hands of God becomes a strength as you endure and character is produced, and eventually you come into knowing that you were never lacking, right? It has been produced in me, but it has been produced in me where I could not produce it myself. And this is where I needed God. What am I even talking about? I mean, I know, but I don't know.